Hey, welcome. I recently did a guest spot on a YouTube show called Retro Gaming Sunset, where I covered all 6 of the video game pinball games released for the original NES. Marcus over at his Retro Game Players channel has tons of great content, and it's all quality. I'll leave a link to it down in the description. So today I wanted to take a look at the 3 pinball games released on the Super Nintendo in the US. That's today's subject on SideQuest. Since the first coin-operated pinball machines started turning up in the 1930s, pinball has seen many iterations. Combining hand-eye coordination in a way that few non-athletic activities did at the time, youth of every generation have flocked to the bells, whistles, and flashing lights of the big fun game with a tiny metal ball. If you've ever visited my arcade bar in Griffith, Indiana, called Twincade, you already know we love pinball. We have a great lineup of A+ pinball titles like Ghostbusters, Attack from Mars, and Medieval Madness. We also update and change our current pins all the time so that each time you visit, there's something fresh and new. But what if you can't make it to Twincade? That's where video pinball comes in. The Super Nintendo was released in 1991, and over its lifespan, 3 pinball games were released for the system, and each game managed to bring the tiny silver ball into our living rooms in their own unique way. Originally developed for digital illusions for the Amiga, Pinball Dreams was repurposed for the SNES in 1994. After several lackluster attempts to bring pinball to previous consoles, Pinball Dreams quickly became the barometer by which pinball games would be measured. As in real life, Pinball Dreams provided several theme tables to whet your appetite. Players could choose between the space theme Ignition, the Wild West theme Steel Wheel, a music theme table called Beatbox, and Nightmare, the horror theme table. The defining feature for Pinball Dreams was that it finally delivered realistic ball physics on a digital pinball game. The graphics in Pinball Dreams are fun and colorful, and the table themes are fully realized. The music and sound effects are well done and unique to the tables, which is a nice touch. As with any pinball game, gameplay and controls are bound to be very minimal. The paddles are responsive, and the ball bounces and rolls smoothly with no lag. Gameplay is just traditional pinball. Use the paddles to smack the ball around and try to unlock the entire table through hitting the proper combinations. Pinball Dreams is a fun game to play. If you like pinball, you can certainly enjoy this game. This game has hit all the nostalgia buttons, and for its time was a huge step forward in video game pinball, and was most notably hailed for its graphics and ball physics. With the success of Pinball Dreams, it made perfect sense for Digital Illusions to create a sequel. And that's what they did with the release of Pinball Fantasies. This game looked and felt pretty much like a reskinned Pinball Dreams, and that was certainly good enough since it had easily set the bar for pinball games on the console. Pinball Fantasies picked up right where Pinball Dreams left off. Digital Illusions was smart to not mess with the great thing, and were basically able to get 2 games out of 1 by reskinning it. This time players had their choice of 4 all-new table themes. The music and sound effects were updated for the new tables, and really added to the atmosphere as they did in Pinball Dreams. As the gameplay is pretty much the same as Pinball Dreams, I'm going to talk a little bit about the new tables this game brought to the table. $1 Billion Game Show poked fun at the flashy game shows that were popular at the time. On this table, players must hit key spots in specific sequences in order to unlock prizes. Partyland takes you to the amusement park, where you can earn a high score by spelling words like party or crazy, or by hitting certain light targets. Speed Devils has a race theme in which the player uses the pinball to beat other cars on the track. And Stones and Bones takes us back to the supernatural, this time in a haunted house where players can unlock several game modes to play through. As this game is basically the same game as its predecessor Pinball Dreams, much of my overall impression are the same for both games. However, I would have to give the edge to Fantasies over Dreams, just because I think the tables are much cooler than in the previous game. I think Digital Illusions knew they were onto something with these themes, and spent all of their effort on updating the tables for the new one. This was a great move on their part. Super Pinball Behind the Mask is finally the straight-up pinball simulation we were all waiting for. Super Pinball flew under the radar even back then. Players can choose between a clown-themed table called Jolly Joker, a fantasy-themed table called Wizard, and a pirate-themed table called Blackbeard and Iron Man. Super Pinball simply provides an awesome pinball experience. The atmosphere is expertly created through visuals and sound and can get downright creepy. The endless looping music can certainly wear you down, however, especially on the first table. If you can get through that, you should be okay. Finally, a stationary table with no scrolling. They really wanted to create the most realistic looking digital pinball machine. Players have the choice between single multiplayer and conquest mode. Single multiplayer allows up to 4 players to compete on any of the 3 themes. Conquest mode is strictly single player and involves a player trying to defeat all 3 themes. Gameplay is the same on the SNES as it is in your local arcade. Just play pinball. Super Pinball was simply the most realistic pinball simulation of its time. If you already know how to play pinball, there is virtually no learning curve. Overall, the beauty in this game is in its simplicity. It doesn't try to be anything more than it is, which is a pinball game. I love playing pinball, and this feels like the real thing. Hey, thanks for watching this video all about the 3 pinball games released on the Super Nintendo. If you play any of these games, let me know what you think about them, or just let me know what you think about the footage or the video, or just send me a shout out and say hi. I love to talk back to you. Until next time, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and view all our videos on the Twincade channel, and we'll see you next time on SideQuest.